Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 19th, 2023 at approximately 4:22 p.m. PST. Now, I have returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the ones I personally utilize to guide my own world. Now, with this in mind, I just figured we'd take a look at it and see what we could do about taking a look at your journey to success, making sure you're on the right track. Now, before we get started here, we have Dogface in the house with the gold, and Las Vegas Retired has arrived with the silver. Welcome aboard, guys. Glad you could join us. You know, the thing is, we can talk until the cows come home about making changes. Now, to give you an idea how that works, I set up to put my newsletter out. I was hoping to do it for the 17th. Things got a little screwy, didn't quite get there. But those of you that have directly requested the newsletter, which will eventually become an absolutely free magazine. Okay, in time. Right now, it's a very small newsletter, but hey, one step at a time. Those of you that have asked for it by email have already got it. Now, if you desired it and you haven't got it, absolutely let me know it didn't arrive, because I went through and did the best I could to make sure everything is pulled around. Now, Emmy, you are in the house with the bronze, and you're a very specific case, because when I told you I was going to get the ink tomorrow, last night I told you I was getting the ink right after the show. Unfortunately, the reality of it was that the store that I have to go to get it was closed. Therefore, it had to be postponed till today. And of course, with the way things went, again, I'm back after the day. But this is why I was saying it early, is to make sure you get your hard copy by the beginning of August. Okay, I've already started working on next month's newsletter. So, but that's where that's sitting. Now, what I'm interested in, oddly enough, is how your journey to success is coming along. I know how mine's coming along. I know exactly where it's standing. Okay, and let me see here. Get that out of the way. That way I can go here and I can go turn that on. And we are lit. Perfect. You know, so I'm really interested in whether your guys' journey to success is making headway. Okay, whether you've got a definitive goal or what the story is there. Where it comes to Races of the Worlds, complete with the pictures, we've now started into the final edit of the actual races, and we did the first 5 off today. To say the least, it's going to be a little bit because we got to work it in. And unfortunately, my editor only has so much room to work. You know, we got a lot of projects on the go. And maybe I've got too many things on the go. I don't know. But at this point, it really boils down to racking them off. So, with that in mind, no paper. Keep it handy so that I can actually get things done. Ouch. Now, one of the things I will be dealing with here is starting to post which and the other books I've got available, and that's extremely important from my standpoint. Now, because of that, okay, what I am curious about in a lot of ways is if any of you have a goal or a target that you're aiming for. Doesn't matter how big it is. Okay, it's not a question of size. The old saying, size matters. No, it really doesn't. Okay. It depends on what you're content with. Okay. And what I mean by that is you've got a goal. Well, Dogface, be right back, going to get smokes. You do realize, Dogface, if you don't like them, they'll last a lot longer. But I will tell you, much as the way is, people used to call them sticks, I will tell you this. Rubbing two cigarettes together, I don't care how fast you do it, they're not going to catch fire. Although you will destroy two perfectly good cigarettes. Yeah, probably. Football, Dogface is going, something's going to take you. Yeah, something will. And Lord knows I've tried enough methods. And football, you are in with honorable mention. I believe that is correct. Dogface, Las Vegas. Emmy comes in. And yep, football, you are in with honorable mention. Now, do understand something very important, people. Okay, contrary to apparent popular belief, whether you've got the gold, the bronze, the gold, the silver, the bronze, the honorable mention, or you're just here, okay, rest assured, each and every one of you is as important as necessary, as each other. There's not a one of you worth more. I do appreciate that, football. It will grow over time, not that particular one. From my standpoint, it's now a question of take a look at where we're going and what you're up to. Okay. Now, I will tell you, I've managed to get things moving in the right direction here, as in, don't need that, as in, my office desk is completely cleared. I've got my printer set to actually get ink, and then I can get back to work. Put that where it belongs. But I will be working on a number of different projects today. What is this? This is 6:30. Sorry, 4:30. Oh, well, it's 6:30 somewhere. It's funny, I went out yesterday. I went down to the restaurant there for a Father's Day dinner. The son says, I don't feel up to going, but I am going to pay for your dinner. So I went out, I had dinner, and ended up there a lot longer than I was planning on. Uh-oh. Joe, how you doing? Glad you could join us. He goes, hello, it's 7:27 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm eating dinner late, and I put both foots in my mouth. Again, today. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to pull them out. You really get used to it. I've always come to the conclusion. Terry, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I always came to the conclusion, Joe, that it's not a question of will I put my foot in my mouth. It's how am I going to get the thing out? Or how am I going to get the other one in there with it? And I usually find a way to do so. But it was funny. I went to, I know I'm 60, but it caught me really off guard last night. I ended up talking to a stranger. Okay, some chap by the name of Rodrigo. Okay, ended up talking to him just as I was getting ready to leave the restaurant. Right, stood up, and of course, because my leg is the way it is, I'd been sitting too long and my knee popped. So I had to pop it back into place, which was fine. But that started the issue of talking to these people. And they made a comment. They'd only just gotten to the city a couple of months ago. And they said they were, we got talking. I said, yeah, well, I said, it's beautiful weather now. But 40 years ago, it was like 40 below here. Where are we? Just looking at this. Football just going. I didn't ask any questions. That story about women who stopped gifting was horrific. I wasn't actually watching the show at all. But what ended up happening, when I'm out with the restaurant, this guy, I told him 40 years back, this is the way it was. He goes, that's not possible. I looked at him and I said, why not? I said, I was here. He goes, no way. So why I did it, I don't know. But I pulled out my license to show him. And this guy was not a cop. He was just a stranger. Apparently, according to both of these people, they literally figured I was closer to that I was 40, maybe 45. Which from my end was just a shock. Like, I couldn't believe it. It's like, how could you think that? But hey, I can go with it. If that means I get another 20 years to get the projects done that I'm aiming at, this is fantastic. But here's a neat little secret for you. Okay. For me, yes, getting my books done, getting the publishing company up and running is important. But what is much more enjoyable from my standpoint is finding out what you guys are targeting and being part of the process, just being in the, watching as your success transpires into something remarkable. Because for me, there is nothing really more enjoyable than finding out how somebody else has succeeded. Now, I've got some stuff on my end I've got to track, but what I'm really looking for, football's going, I heard there are people who look like you. Is that the same as doppelganger? No. It's not the same as a doppelganger. There are people that do look almost identical. Okay. But their appearance, that's where it ends. They don't behave the same way. Okay, they may have similar traits. I've seen a couple of cases where the resemblance is literally photographed perfect. A doppelganger has a whole different energy pattern and a whole lot less interest in you. Or has a whole lot less interest in just living their own life. They will try and insert themselves into the lives of the people around you. Let me ask you this. The answer is, first of all, football. Football's asking, are doppelgangers evil? The answer is no. But that depends on how you look at it. Let me ask you this. Is a hunter an evil entity where it comes to deer? Okay, or is a butcher an evil entity where it comes to, pigs and chickens? Okay, a doppelganger is a hunter. Okay, they literally are simply taking over somebody else's life. That's what they do. It's kind of like, now what are they called? I'm trying to remember. There's a bird that actually will drop its own eggs into another bird's nest to have somebody else raise them. Is this an evil act in your eyes, or is this just nature? Derek, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Day's been rather eventful. Okay, thank you very much for asking. Hopefully yours has been the same way. Okay, but evil is a question of, I'm doing it for self-serving purposes with no other interest. Now, doppelgangers, by their very nature, that's what they do. It's kind of like a starfish, by its very nature, will eat a clam. Nina, glad you could join us. Boy, we are popping tonight, aren't we? What are we up to here? We got people coming in and out. This is absolutely great from my standpoint. But, the way I look at it, this family is getting bigger and bigger. Thank you. Appreciate that, Dogface. Dogface just came back with the cuckoo bird, or the cuckoo bird, depending on how you pronounce it yourself. But they aren't evil. They adopt their kids out without asking anybody. also known as abandoning your children. Ouch. Yeah, Derek's just trying to de-escalate an imminent attack. Okay. I have no doubt, assuming you're the only one involved in said attack. Okay, in said internal attack. For instance, an anxiety attack, that sort of thing, you can override yourself. I used to have to override epileptic attacks. Then I found the cure for epilepsy, and I strongly suggest you don't follow it. If you're dealing with epilepsy, my solution is not advisable. Okay, it's also a little unorthodox, but it worked like a charm. The doctors have decided I will remain listed as epileptic until the day I die again, until the day they bury me. But I haven't had since I pulled this off, I haven't had a seizure, which means it's been 44 years now since I've had a seizure. What do we got here? Derek's going, I feel bad for all those innocent people in Taiwan praying nothing happens. Now, again, unfortunately, Derek, I don't watch the news for a lot of reasons. Okay. Oh, football's going, my father does not believe that my sister does not believe that our father died. Unfortunately, that's one of those things she's going to have to deal with. She's going to have to figure out how to come to terms with it. Because let's face it, there are some of us, and when we die, actually most of you, when you die, that's where it's going to end. As in, you're dead, you'll have to move on to your next life. I'm one of these weird people that goes, nope, got more to do. Kind of like the Monty Python scene, in many of their shows. And talking along and dies, and they start crying and start doing the eulogy, and he goes, wait a minute, I'm not dead yet. I'm not done. In my case, that seems to be far more literal. But what I'm looking at, the news is almost invariably negative. Now, as some of you can attest, those of you that have received the newsletter, I do actually have Eternity. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Not in about probably 40 years, but yeah, Derek, actually probably longer than that. It'd be over 50 years now since because I first saw it way, way, way back in Monty Python and the Flying Circus. Saw it years ago. It was one of those weird things that actually it was enjoyable. So I mean, from my standpoint, it really does. When you take a look at the news, and some of you will be able. What have we got? Derek is going 70s and 80s movies. I like a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Some of them were just priceless. Another one that I thoroughly enjoyed way back then was Billy Jack. Okay. But again, even back then, I had a bit of a different outlook on life. Some of you that have received my newsletter, there is a section there that I have accommodated. I have accommodated a bad news section for you. Okay, I figured, let's build a magazine that covers news, that covers bad news, covers sports, that side of it. So I did make sure I included that. Now, from my standpoint, I always have looked at the world and gone, okay, there is not a one of you out there that is not of value. It takes each and every one of us to get together, to start working together, Oh, there you go. I forgot the guy's name, but thank you. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Oh, yeah, Nina. I was one of like Tom Laughlin was a phenomenal athlete in my eyes, and I like the acting as well. You know, Emmy, the Star Wars series. I managed to watch every one of them from the first one out, from number one, which was really number six, from A New Hope, all the way to the end of the series. I watched every one of them at the big screen or on the big screen. Yeah, the best rendition, and I don't touch Christmas much. The best Christmas carol I ever saw was, I believe it was McAllister, but it was a black and white version. Way better than all the updated ones in my eyes. You know, I mean, yeah, some of the old horror shows were a little on the campy side. I think one of my favorite, and it was absolutely a B class, but it was hilarious, was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. You know, if you notice, many of the sci-fi movies from back in the 60s and 70s were living the technology levels they were describing at that time. Okay, so I mean, we are looking at a whole pile of things. Now, what I'm looking at this point is how do we take that kind of energy? Okay, instead of people looking at it was weird. Where'd it go? Just looking for one little detail here. I think I put it up here. Not there. There. Now, this was priceless. Okay, I spent about 10 years looking for this. Okay, I have been looking around for this particular type of calculator for over a decade. Okay, I finally stumbled across one in my own. Now, the reason that this one's so important when we're looking at old technology, this is a financial calculator used for calculating how much interest you require, how much money you require to have a certain amount at the end of an investment, given the interest rate. Now, with that in mind, this calculator I've been looking for a decade. They don't make them anymore as near as I can figure. It's called a financial calculator. Okay, business financial. Well, about 2 days ago, I stumbled across this in and amongst my junk that I'm getting rid of. Well, more to the point, it showed up. I don't even recall where it came from. But I figured, okay, I don't recognize the calculator. So I asked my eldest because he had just moved in. He says, I've never seen it. So I open it up. I'm looking at it, and it's great, except there's no power to it. But fortunately, I know where to get the power and get a battery for it. The thing was, somebody else looked at it. You'll notice there are no spots for any kind of adapter. Okay, there's no plug-ins for a charger. Okay, which is fantastic from my end. I had no problem with it. But one person took a look at it and went, but how do you charge it? Like, how does it operate? I says, buy a battery. And the individual goes, but where's the adapter to charge the battery? I says, no. And it's like, no, there is no adapter. It is just a battery, just like a remote, different type of battery. Now, people my age, and maybe I don't know how far back people can go to remember calculators and what have you that had no charger. All they had was batteries. But I am happy to say this becomes extremely useful. So, with that in mind, yes, I'm still working on a backward setup. Okay, that's working fine. Now it's a question of what do we do to get your guys' life moving in the right direction? Well, hello. Got a little bird popped up here and he's just staring through my window. Speaking of which, I do have to open that window because we're going to overheat. But I am interested in knowing which of you, if you care to share, which of you have a project that you're making headway on, that you're finally getting that you're finally getting, getting ahead in your own goals. Okay. There we go. That should help. Yeah, it's neat. I get along better with the animals than I do with the people. Which is for me, I can get along with the animals. I don't live with any of them, but that's okay. That works out conveniently. Frankly, my schedule doesn't work well for that. Dogface goes, nope, I went off the wagon this week. Well, as long as you didn't bump your head. Yeah, I was offered the opportunity, but I don't consider it going on the wagon anymore. In my case, I can now take alcohol and leave it or take it. My call. This is why I tell you, if you're going through some sort of program, I've always been told by other people there are two types of alcoholics. Those that are alcoholics and those that are recovering alcoholics. But I will tell you this. Football goes, I've been in my job for 4 years and I got a promotion 6 months ago. Happy I'm no longer job hopping and from toxic workplaces. This is fantastic there, football. Absolutely fantastic. Now you take that energy, and just my recommendation, take that energy and use it to really focus on building the life, on redirecting the energy in your life to have exactly what you're aiming for. If you're not content with anything, doesn't matter what it was. Oh, not a problem there, Dogface. Something we got to remember. General care, general health is important to keep an eye on, but you don't have to be on it 24/7. My nephew years ago, he come to me and he looks at me and he says, Uncle Keith, why is it that everybody that pays a lot of attention to their health? They're always going to the gym, they're always watching their diet. Why is it they're always in the hospital and they're always sick? He says, you clearly don't care what you eat, and I don't know if you ever exercise, but you're always healthy. You never get ill. Why? I said, I can't personally be bothered with it. Okay. The nice part about it is when you figure out what you're not content with. For me, it was all the clutter I had around you. And if you've been watching my videos, right, for any length of time, you know how that shifted. I didn't get what I desired there, so I'm going to have to do that. I know what to do with it now. I know how to get that mounted. And I think I may just do that tonight. I don't know. It really depends on how things work. But when you can get up in the morning and go, I'm content. This is the way I desire my life to start evolving. Okay. That's the important part from my standpoint. So, of course, I got up this morning, got all my finances sorted out, got them all stabilized. Then my executive assistant gets on the horn. We double checked all that. We've now got the first five races of the world now completed. Okay, and we'll be going through the rest of them. And we'll push through it as fast as we can. I shouldn't say fast, as efficiently as we can. Because I'm a firm believer, I desire this one to come out properly. Now, let me see if I've actually got what I required here. Get you over there. Move that over and let's just take a peek. Where is it? Races of the Worlds. Nope, that's not what. Yeah. Where is it going? There's where it's going to pop up. It's always fun trying to figure out where I'm standing. But yeah, so I've got the first 5 done. The second edition right now is sitting at 84 pages. The first edition that you guys already have is only 64. Okay. And I haven't finished the editing yet. I'll be going through that now, getting that done as efficiently as I can. You guys have been waiting for it long enough. It's been sitting on hold for way too long. So I will be dealing with that as quickly, as efficiently as I can. I've already started writing next month's newsletter. Okay, and again, the only way anybody's ever going to get it is simply to go, I'd like to subscribe to the newsletter. Get word to me one way or the other. I will absolutely, it's 100% free of cost to you. Whether it's email or whether it's physical mail, doesn't matter. It's still not going to cost a plug nickel. Oh, Henry's going, I feel dreadful, like my limbs weigh 200 pounds. That is no fun. Although if you think about it, if your limbs are weighing 200 pounds, you should be really strong by the time you get able to walk. That means you're walking around with 800 pounds of limb. Nicely done. But no, I do feel for you. There are days when I have trouble getting out of bed. I just wake up, I'm going, I just don't feel like it. Okay. Part of that, let me ask you this. In your eyes, Henry, do you deal with depression a lot? And I don't mean suicidal. I mean just feeling overwhelmed, feeling like the world just isn't moving in a functional fashion. Or at least your world isn't moving in a functional fashion. Because this is something a staggering number of people deal with. Okay. And Lord knows I fought the issue for years. Then I gave up and just went with it and said the world's screwed up. Okay. Here's a way to start dealing with it. Okay, and I kid you not, this is going to sound way too simple to actually work. Okay, and of course, if you're anything like 90% of the people I've spoken to about this, the odds are you're going to look at it and go, well, that's not going to help. It may not, but give it a shot if you don't do it already. Okay, first thing in the morning, pick it to start with tonight. Pick a time that you're going to get up. Okay, not a time you're going to go to bed. The most successful people in the world, around the world, are up between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. local time. Now, this piece of information is based on over 100,000 clients that I've dealt with in my lifetime. Okay, so pick a time to get up. I look at it and go, I'm getting up regardless of when I'm going to bed. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. This puts me in my office by 6. Now, the thing with getting up at 5 a.m., you're likely going to look at it and go, but that's a silly time to get up. I'm still going to be tired. If you require a nap a little later in the day, take it. Okay, just not while you're driving. And preferably not at work or you'll be unemployed. But you pick a time to get up, regardless of when you go to bed. Let's say you were silly and went to bed at 4. You still get up at 5. Okay. The first thing you do when you get up, wait long enough for your eyes to focus. Okay. And then get out of bed. Now, do understand there are those of you that will be listening to this that are blind. Clearly, waiting till your eyes focus is not going to work that well. Okay. So wait until you're conscious enough that you can safely get out of bed. Get yourself out of bed at that time. Go in, do what you have to in the washroom. Now whether you're having a shower in the washroom, don't have a shower in the living room. This is a bad idea. I will tell you, it takes forever for the carpet to dry. But do what you have to in the washroom. Come back out, make your bed. Okay, come back out, get dressed, make your bed, or vice versa. Make sure you do both before you leave your bedroom. Okay, now the reason you do this is because, first and foremost, getting out of bed, you've just overcome the biggest obstacle you'll ever face in your life: your own stubborn disposition. Cowie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay, that's the first reason. Okay, you've overcome that first obstacle. Well, there you go, Henry. Henry goes, I can go to bed at 11 p.m. or 3 a.m. and still wake up at 10 a.m. Oh, that's not a problem. Okay, you don't have to be fully conscious unless you're driving. If you're driving, wait till you're fully conscious. Because I'll tell you, it's much more exciting for the other people if you're not awake, but it's also really dangerous. But you get up. Now, the thing is, you've just overcome the biggest obstacle you'll ever face in your life: your own stubborn disposition. By making your bed, by getting dressed and making your bed. Making your bed seems to be, from everybody I've talked to, children and adults alike, making your bed is one of the most annoying tasks available. So what you've done, overcome the biggest obstacle, and then completed the most annoying task on record. Okay, at least according to popular belief, it would seem. Okay, so before you even leave the bedroom, you've overcome the major obstacle, you've accomplished the most annoying task, and you're dressed and ready to face the world. Okay, now some of you will go, well, I need to look presentable. Okay, do not develop an attitude like I did. I wake up, I've got to comb my hair. So there, it's been combed. That worked. Okay, yes, I actually have a comb. I just don't bother worrying about it too much. Of course, I'm a firm believer that if somebody tells me they don't like the way I look, I tell them to turn around, look somewhere else. But by doing that, you'll start the path. And this is where this neat little list comes in. Now, again, I don't expect you to read it. I keep this handy so I can get things done. Okay. I don't see, there we go. Okay. When you take a look at it, I got a whole list of things. Now, some of them are checked off. But what you do is you put 3 down to start with. Okay. Make sure they are 15-minute to half-hour tasks. That way you can get started. When you get one finished, check it off, add another one. Now, I have a bad habit of overextending. So, of course, right now, I've still got on my list. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing one of them right now, but I've got 6 things left on my list right now. And we'll likely have something put on my list before that. Dogface goes, I'm bald. Hair's perfect every day. Yeah, I think I'm the only one in the family that doesn't have to worry about that. I mean, technically I could. I've not looked at the back of my head in years. Of course, that's what I told the cop when they told me my rear tail light was out. They pulled me over. And, when I pulled over, because it's 3 o'clock in the morning, the cops pulled me over. So I rolled down the window, and the cop looks at me and she goes, do you have any idea why you pulled over? I said, yeah, the lights came on behind me. And she stops and she goes, do you have any idea why the lights came on behind you? I said, well, presumably you wanted me to pull over. And she pauses and goes, okay, so do you have any idea why I may have wanted you to pull over? I looked and I went, no, not really. She goes, did you realize your back rear tail assembly was out? I said, no, but then I don't tend to follow myself around that much at night while I'm driving. So she stops again and goes, okay, clearly you have not been drinking. She said, but are you always at this hour in this mood at this hour of the morning? I said, yeah, pretty much. She goes, oh, your coworkers must just love you. I said, you know, that's not the word they use. And then she turns around and she goes, okay, I'm going to let you off with a verbal warning, but I want you to get this prepared right away. I said, well, I will. I said, thank you very much. I'll get it done as soon as I get off work. And she goes, and why are you going to wait that long? I said, because, ma'am, if I go and get that done right now, you and I are going to have another conversation you're not going to be happy with. You know, that you're not going to be in anywhere in this nice of a mood. And she goes, why? I said, because, ma'am, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. In order to do this right now, I have to break into the shop, steal the stuff, and repair the car. And she looks at me and she goes, okay, get it done right after work. Now you go to work, have a nice day. I'm going to get coffee. You know, from my standpoint, that was just the way things went down. Football's asking, are Canadian cops nice? The sad reality of that football is police across the board are individuals. Some are really nice, some are really nasty. Okay. And it really does boil down to a question of which one's which. Okay. But just because they're police in Canada, not all of them are nice. Okay. I know there have been some that were absolutely brutal. Okay. With no tolerance for anything. They had this thing about, I'm a cop, therefore I am the law. And in all fairness, that's not the case. But there are police in every country that are really nice, that are really bad, that are really nasty, and that just go with the flow. It's a mixed bag in every country. Okay, now I will tell you, society does tend to turn out a different ratio. Okay, but myself, I've never had a problem with them. Of course, I look at it this way. The police are doing a difficult job to start with. Okay, same as a cashier in a fast food restaurant or the attendant at baggage claim in the airport. Everybody has challenges in their jobs. If you take this into consideration and you stick to karmic law number 2, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you, you will find that you get a much better response from most people. Okay, you know, it's a very abnormal setup, really, when you think about it. Okay, to find somebody that is always on the ball. Now, I am not always on the ball. I just hide from people, so therefore most people don't know it. You know, I was talking to a young couple yesterday, which is why I didn't get home. You know, why I didn't get home until late. But I was talking to them yesterday and turned around, you know, and what ended up happening was we're sitting there, and like I told them, you desire, you know, how big do you want your business to go? So she, and you know, the woman answered. I said, okay, here's what you got to deal with. Now, it's like I told her, first rule of thumb. I said, your biggest holdup, 4 words. You know, there are 4 words that you are overlooking. I am worth it. Those 4 words are the strongest combination of 4 words in any language I've heard that help with self-esteem, that help with the self-esteem, that help with self-motivation, overcoming procrastination, the whole 9 yards. They are phenomenal. And this is why I recommend so strongly that you keep those words handy. And I don't have it handy right now. Well, I've got the one over there. But there are, you know, I've got to look at that and go, okay, how do we make things turn around? You know, how do we take your life and get it turned around? Okay. Dogface goes, random tangent. I feel like a Whopper with cheese. Well, hopefully you don't look like one. But that's not an entirely bad idea. But yeah, I've gone an A&W just down the road from me. I just don't go to it much. But I will give you this: it is so much better, in my opinion, so much of a better burger than McDonald's is. But that's personal opinion. I know people that swear by McDonald's, or I think they live on it, one of the two. When I really want a burger that's full of meat, my personal choice, if I'm not going to Wings, which is essentially it's my home away from home. Okay, I like the Wendy's triple burger. Of course, I'm half carnivore. Actually, I'm a lot more than half. But from my standpoint, a triple burger with cheese works out really nicely. Now I gotta ask, Dogface. I really have to ask. How do you possibly know how bad an old boot tastes? Okay. I mean, I agree. You see, McDonald's was really good when I was living in the bar. It was either really good to prep to go in to drink, or was great for absorbing alcohol afterwards. I find they are football. Of course, there is a proviso there. You have to like hot dogs first. Okay. The best hot dogs, though, from what I've come across, are actually in Costco. Dogface is going, sometimes things happen after midnight. Yeah. I mean, I keep wondering why I haven't tasted Old Boot. I keep putting my foot in my mouth. But, no, I mean, I take a look at a comment like that, and the one that has always struck me is something that most people use as a slight against smokers. And they'll turn around and go, kissing a smoker is like kissing a dirty ashtray. And my first comment to somebody when they make that is, what would prompt you to kiss a dirty ashtray to find out? I mean, really? You think they're having troubles, and here you are kissing a dirty ashtray. You might want to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I understand they're a lot more enjoyable. But no, there are a lot of comparisons that people use, and I always sit there looking at them going, how did you find that out? Okay, I did find out that eating ketchup and mustard, or eating ketchup and ice cream, is a really bad idea. It's not bad for your health. It won't poison you, so you're welcome to try it if you'd like. But I will tell you, you're likely to be disappointed in my eyes. That's just the reality behind that. But, I sit there wondering how people come up with some of these comparisons. But the big thing that I look at, I was watching one, I forget what the show was, but the guy said when he was a child, okay, that works well. If you're a smoker, having a girlfriend that is also a smoker is actually going to solve a lot of your problems, other than the cost of the smokes. But I do understand I've got nothing against people that smoke. I've got absolutely nothing against them. Do I pick on them? No, only in two aspects. One, if you're a smoker and these are the only people that do it, so many people are driving down the road in the middle of a drought and they're smoking away and they stop, the windows down and they go out the window in the middle of a drought. Now, non-smokers don't tend to throw matches out the window. Okay, smokers do. Well, more to the point, smokers throw the whole cigarette out after they're down to the end. Okay, and I will tell people, I gave up about 15 years ago. The Canadian government came out with a real brilliant comment. The number one cause of lung cancer, according to them at the time, was breathing. Now, the moment you can stop breathing to avoid lung cancer, hey, bonus. But you might want to wait until you're dead to stop breathing. However, if you've got lung problems, it would be wise to quit filling what's working of the lungs with to quit filling your lungs with smoke. Some bizarre reason it doesn't work well. Okay. Now, the other issue, if you're struggling with a problem, maybe you're a stress eater, or like I was for a while, a boredom eater. You'd think writing 23 books I wouldn't get bored, but hey, what the heck? I will tell you this. You desire to drop weight. There are all kinds of pills out there that apparently you can take and drop 30, 40 pounds in a month. What they don't tell you is you're likely to put it back on. Okay. I will tell you this, though. No matter how much you weigh, no matter how little you weigh, okay, if you weigh really little, taking off weight may not be a good idea. But if you've got too much weight in your eyes, okay, then the whole secret to dropping weight, the whole thing, not two factors. One, quit telling yourself that you're trying to lose it. Okay, and commit yourself to dropping it. And the reason for it is that whenever you lose something, human society has essentially been taught to go and try and find it again. I can't do much about that. Unfortunately, Dogface, that Whopper is one of those things that sooner or later you're going to have to do one. You're either going to have to let go of the idea or go and get one. Because I don't know if they actually deliver. But if they do, hey, what the heck? But no, you change your mindset to I'm dropping weight. Okay, because if you lose it, you're going to, in all likelihood, go looking to find it again. And in the case of weight, it usually comes back with company. Okay, not a great setup. That'd be first and foremost. The second thing you do is understand one basic principle. When you're aiming at dropping weight, if you put less calories into your system than you burn off, you will drop weight. It's like if you desire to gain weight, put more calories into your system than what you burn. You'll gain weight. Henry goes, I lost so much weight this winter, went from 180 to 135. Not by joy and by choice. Trying to get it back. I'm hoping you're only like 4'6" if you're 135 pounds, but I'm guessing you're a little taller than that, Henry. Here's something they won't tell you. I do feel for you. Now, I don't know much about celiac disease, but I do know this. The doctors undoubtedly have told you you're stuck with it for life. I'm going to tell you something that's going to go against everything you've probably been taught. No, you're not. If you're 6 foot and only 135 pounds, you've got just enough muscle to move your limbs. Okay, but do understand now. Remember that technique I mentioned a long time ago, multiple times actually. That you sit down, you get focused on one word in your head. Okay, you focus on one word, heal. Your body can override and eliminate celiac disease. Now, absolutely, if you're under the care of a physician, stay in contact with them. Okay, keep working with them. Theoretically, they know more about how to cope with it than you may. But keep running that thought through your head. Your body does know how to heal it. Modern doctors won't agree with you there, but this is why you keep working with them, because their methods are proven in most cases to work at least to a degree. But keep that thought of heal running through your head all the time you're awake. Okay, your body will start to replicate it. Okay. Here's a scary thought for you there, Henry. You're 6 foot and 135. I'm 5'8" and 195. Okay. But, the reality of it is And what they found out a long time ago is I've got about 40 pounds of extra bone. And no, I do not have any sort of arthritis or any sort of other joint disease. I just happen to have really, really dense bones. The thing is, you've got a situation where your body is completely scrambled. Now, I haven't looked into what causes celiac disease, but I do not buy into the concept that it's simply a matter of genetics. There is something that you've done, okay, probably subconsciously, that has opened the door for that disease to get out of hand. Okay, this doesn't make you any less of a person. It just gives you an annoying obstacle you got to deal with. Okay, but am I a firm believer you can put it back on? The answer is yes. Now, I will tell you this. When you're aiming at looking at putting a little extra weight on, okay, eat your last meal of the night later at night. Okay, normally it's a case of you finish your meal off 5, 6 o'clock at night and keep going for a few hours. When you're aiming at gaining a little bit of weight, eat your meal at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then be only up for an hour or so, and then go to bed because you won't have time to burn the calories off. But again, be sure you're eating healthy, especially from what I do understand. Where is it? Oh, Henry goes, as far as I understand, my intestines are smoothed over instead of being smooth. Instead of being wavy. The surface area for absorbing nutrients is like 70% less. Okay, now with that in mind, again, you can still sort that out the same way. But I do appreciate the clarification. It does make sense. If you're running a straight tube, if you think about it, if you're running a straight pipe, things don't gather on the side of it as much as they do if you've got like an S-turn. Okay, it just works that way. Now, the nice part about it, and I presume that was supposed to say, did it just happen all of a sudden or gradually? Neat part about most illnesses is they are a buildup. Okay, they are a buildup over time, but that you actually find out about it. Problem is, it usually takes a while until something kicks in and people are forced to look to it. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out why my balance is shot. My hearing is phenomenal. Okay, doctors just were not, we're caught off guard with that one. But where it comes to celiac disease or anything else, your body knows exactly how to cure it. There's no question there at all. At least not from my standpoint. But stay working with the medical professionals you're dealing with, because theoretically they're helping you cope. And that is the key. Until you can get it organized, coping with it is the important factor. Just taking a quick glance here. Oh, I've got that. Okay. Once I get that, so it really boils down to taking a look at it and going, how do we get from point A to point B? Now, here's the silly part. Okay, every species I've run into, people are different. They have different medical issues. They have different medical preferences. Okay, humans are not unique in this regard. What humans are somewhat unique in is their ability to take, on the whole, they can take a purely logical situation and go a completely illogical direction and still land on their feet. There we go. Dogface is going, any new figurines lately after this conversation? I'm going to be bringing a bunch down that I'm going to be working on tonight while I'm working on other things. Right now, they're all up front. But what I've started doing is really piecing together which ones I'm going to be dealing with. Now, the funny part about it is I've got a secondary series I'm working on that carries on. It connects directly to the Yldrbacian Chronicles. But I'm intending on getting the Yldrbacian Chronicles. I've got to get the Return to Paradise done first. And that's one of the big things, as a matter of fact. No, that can stay there. I'll take it with me tonight. I may end up going out for dinner after I get out of here. I didn't go for lunch. Come to think of it, I don't think I ate lunch, much less breakfast. This is not a good idea in my case, but what the heck? I know I've got to go out and find, if they've got it. Next time I'm in the game shop that I buy from, I've got to find a jungle giant. Okay, I've got one of all the other giants. I've got the storm, the cloud, the fire, the stone giant, the hill giant, and the frost giant. I don't have a jungle giant yet. Oh, thank you there, Dogface. Nice part about that. Yeah, it's a lighthouse. You know, people talk about whether you're stealing a picture, right? A little hard to call it stealing. On the back of the Believe in Your series I'm dealing with. This is the lighthouse that I use. Okay, that's the one in the picture. So we can safely say that I'm not actually taking it from anybody. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Uh-oh. I'm presuming it's somewhat cold there. But no, this one, I was talking to my printer. She's the one that does all the cover work for the Believe in Your series. So they even came out, took a picture of that particular little lighthouse. And it's what goes on the back end. See, matter of fact, that reminds me, I gotta ship 2 things out today. But as you can see, okay, that's Believe in Yourself. That's the backbone. And we've got the printer there. And yeah, that's me a little while ago. I'm actually going to be giving my printer a new picture. Then you've got Believe in Your business. And again, we've got the lighthouse in the back. And then the newest one that came out, that's just coming out, is Believe in Your finances. And again, we have the same ghosted lighthouse. Makes it pretty easy to keep them contained. Yeah, Henry goes, I'm not certain if it was recent development or if I've been this way my whole life and just came to a head last winter. However, I do know that I ate 6 whole sides of breaded fish last summer. Clearly, that was a mistake. Well, if you got celiac, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'll sit down, and I'm a bad example for it because I will literally eat whatever I desire to. I just don't think about it. Now, I've got an immune system and something silly. I don't expect other people to match that by any means. Now, here's the thing. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're not content with, this is what we've got to start modifying. Well, we don't have to. It's like they said in Lone Ranger. We have a problem. Who's this we, Kimasabi? There is no we in this case. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference to me personally if your life continues on the path it's on. However, am I excited at the prospect of hearing how your life has changed in a positive fashion? This is absolutely the correct outlook. Now, let me see here. We'll bring that. I'll move this up here. I'm just standing up to make sure I didn't miss something. But no, the way I look at it, it's a question of if you desire, in your case, I think you're the one, Henry. I've got a really good memory. Here we are. Yeah. I would really be happy for you to hear that you went from 135 even to 150 or to 137 for that matter. Okay. From my way of looking at it, it's that kind of success that I really look forward to hearing about. Joe's going, I'm still writing my dream journal and I'm making a path to my backyard. Kind of like gardening in a way. Just my latest project. Hey, every little project will help. And I will tell you, at least you've got, at least in your case, Joe, and by the way, welcome aboard. Glad you could join us. At least in your case, you've got projects that are taking place and they keep you motivated. And with outdoor work, you're able to get outside, and you're getting, half an hour outside literally puts you in a place to get the vitamin D you require. Okay. Now, you can buy vitamin D in a bottle, but from my experience, the vitamin D you get in a bottle is essentially what I would personally call a placebo. Because what I came to understand is the vitamin D your body requires. And again, I am no nutritionist. I am certainly not a doctor, at least not a licensed one. Okay. But from my experience, the vitamin D that you require is already in your body, but it kind of activates in the same fashion as photosynthetic works. Yeah, Henry's going, the one time in my life I actually want to gain weight and I just can't. All I can do is laugh. Life is strange. And the reality of it is, weight, you take a look at it, and the big thing I look at is this. Not your weight, not whether you look like a walking skeleton with a little bit of skin draped on you, but whether or not you personally are feeling healthy and content. If you're personally feeling healthy and content, then I look at it and go, that's fine, that works well. If you're not content, this is where we start working on things. Okay. And the neat part about it, forgot to do something here. Okay, there we go. Let us go back up here. YouTube info. Grab that and get it out of my way. And we go. Nathan, this is Nathan's show. This is his stream. Okay. So again, drop by his site Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. Drop by his stream. Have a listen to what he says. And if you like what he's saying, what he's talking about, absolutely give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Okay. And then, like I've asked you to do here, if you'd be so kind, do me a favor and really, share the daylights out of his stream. Let's get his stream growing. Now, I have no question where mine's going to end up in the long run. I'm just over 2 years into it now. Okay, and things are fine. You're more than welcome there, Nathan. Things are finally starting to move. But now I know exactly how I'm aiming at it. Am I perfect at it? No. Okay. Well, I do appreciate that, Henry. And rest assured, I did think about it about a year ago. I really fought with the idea of whether I was going to continue. But I have decided that as long as I'm still breathing and I've got a computer that'll work, and I'm still living in a apartment, a house, or something, I'll continue doing this. Same as the newsletter that I'm now putting out will continue to go out. Okay. Adam Lakatos, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully your day's been going well. The neat part about it, when we start looking at the size that this place is going, I'm wondering, let's give us a refresh here just because I'm curious. Now, we are sitting right now, like I get a lot of notes from people that they're listening after the fact. And the thing, and this is kind of helping. Now, that being said, I look at it and go, okay, as long as I'm helping somebody, this is ultimately the idea. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm becoming more and more, I'm doing my best to become more and more active on the social media side. I still have troubles. Sad part is a sad story in a sense. I've got a printer over here, ran out of ink. I could not find a video on YouTube or anywhere else for the love nor money that would tell me how to pull the ink. My other half, an executive assistant, she's totally blind. Takes her 5 minutes to find the information necessary for me to pull it together. It's absolutely phenomenal. I talk to people that can see, and they don't see as much as what she does. I don't understand it. Don't have and don't care to understand it. It'd be nice, but it's like I told her, I'm going to completely screw up her single life and marry her one day. Now, the nice part about where we're standing here, okay, is this whole, this whole way of the world, the way the world is running right now. We have the opportunity to turn this into an absolute Garden of Eden with no fear. Well, fear you'll probably still have. No famine, no war, no jealousy. This can be done. It's been done before. Okay. From my standpoint, it's kind of neat. I used to have to wear these all the time. Now they annoy me in a lot of ways. But I've had to get into the habit of putting them exactly where I require them. In this case, on the computer I work on. Because that way when I come back here, these are the glasses I require on my computer. Oh, in all fairness, Emmy, I don't think I could be happier. Well, I could be. She could be living here. But, the reality is, as far as she goes, she actually asked me if I figured we could make a go of it. Only apparently she thought that I was going to tell her, no, not going to happen. She was not prepared for me to turn around and go, well, two things that you have to keep in mind before we look at that. One, I've got a 15-year-old child with mild CP. And if he never moves out, that's the way it is. I says, two, I'm not moving. Actually, I said, one, I'm not moving, period. I'm just not packing up and moving. This is where I am. You desire it to work out, you're coming here. Now, some people will say that's being controlling, that's being unreasonable. Is it unreasonable to tell somebody, here's the boundary, you desire it, this is what you're up against? Or is it better to leave it sit and let them know after you get into it? It was funny when I was working for my last job, right? When it was a standing rule, a standing joke amongst the office staff. I'd come to work and they'd be trying to bring in a new staff member. And it's like, Keith, don't scare the new staff. I finally looked at the office manager one day and I said, let me ask you, which would you rather? Would you rather I not scare them, let you go through 6 weeks of training them, and then scare the daylights out of them so you got to start all over? Or would you rather I scare them and have them leave first? And she stops and goes, the office manager looks at me and goes, go ahead and scare them. I looked at it that way and went, well, what the heck? From my standpoint, I am what I am. It's just a simple issue of, of looking at it going, well, that's the way I look at it. People ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. You may not like the answer, and the answer may just be, I'm not telling you. I know there was somebody that was in the chat room a while ago that kept asking me a question, and I kept telling him, I'm not giving you an answer until I get definitive go-ahead. Okay. And finally, he got fed up. I haven't seen him back. And as near as I can figure, the only way I can chalk that up is he wanted an answer now. And, well, it's not going to happen. It's like the only time that the database that I'm collecting on people, and by the way, for those of you receiving that are already either purchasing something from me or receiving the newsletter, okay, I do have a plan set in motion to handle people's birthdays from a company standpoint. Okay, but the only way I can add that to the file is if I've actually got your birthday. Now, I don't really care about the year because I'm not going to be worrying too much about that anyway. Okay, the year is convenient in a lot of ways. Bear in mind that there's a lot of stuff I'm looking at. I'm going to be expanding my repertoire, as it were, as I go along. Dogface, and I don't think I've got that. Okay, I'm sure you did. And let me just see here. Wonder if I've got it here. Of course, my problem is it's all registered. Let's do it that way. I do remember seeing it. I just haven't sent it out yet because, well, frankly, I forgot where I put some of the stuff and was still building the database. But let us see if we can sort that out in a hurry. Go there and we go into email. And let's see if this works. Bingo. Okay. Now remember, and let me see here. Okay. Great. Okay. Now we've got that there, and what we do, and this is just how quick this can work in this case. I'm looking at your email right now there, Dogface. So we go reply, and we go attach. And I'm just going to the desktop here. Where are we? July. Attach that. There we go. Here's the July 2023 edition. Okay. As you can tell, see, the reason it takes me a little bit more concentration is trying to type with the left hand that doesn't work really all that well is kind of an annoyance on my part. Hey, and Dogface, here's how quick this works. Now that I've got it written, there's no hold up to it. If you check your email, you will find a copy of said newsletter in your email at this point. I just sent it off to you. Now, I do have to make sure that I deal with that. There we go. I should probably add that to the list, shouldn't I? Yep. I should really do that. So let's do that this way. Add you to my database right now, and that way the August one won't be delayed at all. Because like I said, I've already started dealing with it. We are champions. Anyway, KL. What do we got here? I don't know. Doesn't tell me. That's okay. Because I can do that this way. This still gets it put where I need it. Perfect. Absolutely there, Adam. I will keep an eye open for it. The reality of it is, guys, just to be clear, because I'm running this through my and this is my advertising budget. Okay. So what I've done is said, no, it will never cost to get it. Because the way I look at it, I will make the money for it later. Okay. This is just one of those growth curves that I'm looking at. Okay, regarding making my business do what I desire. I've already gone global. Okay. But now I'm pushing the issue and it's going to become a viable way of life. Okay, and what do we got here? Add that contacts. We save that, and that works out. Where are we? Whoa, Dogface. There we go. Dogface goes, I'm Australian, you're global. I appreciate that. This puts us that I'm absolutely aware of, as far as the newsletter goes, we are in Canada, in the United States, and apparently we are now in Australia. So yeah, I think that qualifies as being global. And I do intend on hitting the rest of the continents as we go along. Eventually, I may figure out how to, and I probably will, figure out how to translate it into other languages. But for the moment, sorry guys, I speak English. Although I do also speak mumblese and slurries and, mutteries, but I'm not entirely certain those are easy to write. What do we got? See, there we are. Can't quite read that at that distance, so let's see. It's like 2277. Okay. Like I said, I prefer my database. I prefer it on cardstock because then, number one, if my computer ever collapses, it'll take me a little bit of time to do it, but I will be able to keep the database alive. Yeah, I think it is. Actually, I wish I did, Derek, but I've never actually taken the time to learn. On the other hand, I did learn a little bit. I speak bits and pieces of English, a lot of English, French, Spanish, German, Japanese, American Sign Language, and Hausa, which is Northern Nigerian trade. Do not ask me why I bothered with that other than I was bored. Okay. And here we go. Dogface. Where are we? We are here at KL. This would be you, Dogface, being added to my database. And we go all the way back into here. Now, there's that. And then one other neat little thing I have to deal with. And where is it? Right there. Nothing like real-time live video, eh? Or live stream. Now we take that and get that out of the way because we don't require it there. But I do require a blank sheet of paper for half a moment. There we are. What do we got? Henry's going, currently I'm attempting to learn Russian. The Russians, yeah. Now there's a challenging one. Henry goes, currently I am attempting to learn Russian Cyrillic alphabet. It's interesting, even if the words are still nonsense to me. I actually picked up a book, and I'm actually working on striving to learn. I've just started learning to understand a little bit of Italian. I picked up a book that is written in Italian. The way I look at it, Adam, if you look at it, technically, if they ever invade, the odds are they're not going to be asking if you speak Russian. Okay, the odds are they'll say something, if you don't respond, they'll do something else, which may not be enjoyable. Well, gotta double check that before I add it. Yeah. Okay. Now, this neat little sheet. This is the other part of my tracking. Go back in here and we go. Yes. Now, here's the neat part about it. Okay, when I look at that, I have no doubt that my world is going to get very hectic here. But you've got that, so that works out really well. Adam, I will keep an eye open for yours. Okay, and let me see here. We go close that, and we turn around and move that to... see, where is it? That goes to there for the moment. One day I'll figure out how to make things work properly, but that gets things moving in the right direction. And like I said, you desire something to change in your life. Oh, perfect. I do appreciate that, Adam. Whatever you do, no texting while you're driving. This is usually a bad idea, especially with what you're hauling. Yeah, I don't, I appreciate that there, Dogface. I was asked when I went in to deal with Work BC here because they want me to get a job. I'm thinking I've got a job designed. It's going to take off. This is where my income is going to be coming from. Funny part about it is I looked at it, I'm unemployed right now aside from my own company, and I'm in better financial shape than I ever have been. If I do nothing, if I've got no income, I've got almost 15 months sitting in the bank that I can deal with, as long as I pay attention to what I'm doing. So, the one thing I told the woman, she asked, if there was anything I couldn't do. And I started off with, well, I can't stand on my leg for very long. Computers that I don't get along well. Heck, I had to get a blind woman, to teach me how to get into a printer in another city. Now, this might indicate a bit of a problem with technical capacity. I'm still trying to figure out if they see the small picture. But, but the reality of it is I started off with that sort of thing and then went, wait a minute, there's one thing I really have not been able to do. I said, I cannot, it would seem, do one thing at a time. It's not, I can't multitask. I can't individualize it. Because even here, I mean, let's face it, I just went and added to my database, and I'm looking around, and the computer is starting to do what I require it to do. I think that might be under threat of I'm going to blow you up if you don't. But, come to think of it, and I think I will do that, because I've got to make absolutely certain that I get certain things copyrighted or trademarked or what have you. I'm starting to move faster than what I've actually got the legal side of things worked out for. But I was told years ago, I'm what they call a gentleman contractor. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen. Now, like you, I've made stupid moves. Like you, I've overextended myself. Okay, I've done some absolutely retarded things when I was a kid. And I know that word retarded is bad, okay, according to everybody else. But then I've never held that I'm politically correct. Actually, I've held quite the opposite. The nice little thing from my end is I get it in my head, this is what I desire to do. And while I am growing, I would love to see the whole bunch of you accomplish the goals that you're seeking to accomplish at the same time. Okay, I've already talked to I've gone to talk to her a little more. My personal editor, okay, my other half, my executive assistant, is willing to take on more work through Inner Voice. Okay, I just have to talk to her and get it all balanced out properly, so we're absolutely on the same page. And one of the, I think probably in the next day or two, I'm going to see what I can do about sitting down with Nathan, because Nathan did come forward and say he's willing to help me set up to buy a coffee. In the meantime, where am I here? We have to minimize that and find the one I was working on. This one. In the meantime, if you are looking at the issue, people have asked if there's any way they can help. And, I've got absolutely no problem with it. This is the email you can do that through. This is the one that comes directly to me. It's also the email address that I use to deal with PayPal. Okay. That's the email to connect with me directly. Yeah, you have to, Adam. Well, you technically don't have to. Okay. And by the way, just to be clear, I do have Races of the World. Well, all of the books I've got listed. Okay. All of them I've got in stock. Well, except the last one, which I'm still waiting for the printer to complete. Where is it? This is the website that right now holds the description of all the books I do have. But I'll be rectifying part of that and moving the whole list onto my Inner Voice Enterprises Facebook page and onto LinkedIn, and start doing that side of it as well. Because like I said, I really have to get to the point of becoming very socially active. I even was out of the house yesterday until like 9 p.m. 9 p.m. local, and I'll tell you, that's an extreme abnormality. But when it comes to where your life is sitting, okay, get a goal in mind. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe all it is to get the dishes done. Because I know some of you, unfortunately, cannot stand up for longer than 10 minutes at a time, if that much. But that being said, start picking jobs that fall inside your capabilities and absolutely work to push the limits a little. For me, I'll be leaving here today, assuming, of course, the mall is still open. If not, I'll have to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to run down to the mall today to get my printer ink. If I've got the printer ink, if I can get the printer ink, then I'll turn around and deal with starting to run off hard copies. The reality of it is, from my standpoint, these are things I'm looking at to change my life, because I'm no longer content with just living day to day, paycheck to paycheck, or, one moment to the next. I'm building an empire whereby all of you, and when I mean all of you, I don't mean just the people in the chat room. I mean every single one of you that are listening in or that are watching this after the fact. It's going to affect all of you in as positive a fashion as I can make happen. Now, I'm just one person, and I know there are other people out there striving to do similar things. Okay. I cannot rely on that happening, as it were. The only person I can guarantee is going to do it my way is, frankly, me. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to take 30 seconds out here. Well, actually, it'll be about a minute, because I know I'm on air, but I'm going to get coffee. So I will be right back. There are, as you can tell, priorities in life. Oh, sheep. Hang on. I'll be right back. Hello. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome to the world of live stream. I've got a dresser on order coming in tomorrow, and frankly, kind of gotta know when it's coming in. Yeah, no, that would be That would be the CIA as far as that goes, but not today. Now let's go back here. Um, Possible. You let's see. Dogface is going. If I'm just going back through what I missed here, Dogface is going. If we focus, can we make the fan move? Well, I am working on making it on actually pushing the limits. Come to think of it, I got to talk to a friend of mine that does it regularly. He may have a couple of suggestions there. But Nathan goes, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, no, I haven't even got my fan turned on, in all fairness, assuming that's the one you guys are referring to. And then Derek is just adding here. Yeah, it could be moving. Yeah, Derek is just going, I speak Italian. I speak Italian, English, and Vulcan. I can't even do that Vulcan thing. My hand doesn't work that way. This one didn't separate at all. It does now, but it still pops back. That's how my hands have been pretty much all my life. Once I had the stroke, this one started to separate a bit. Okay, so this neat little thing of splitting the two fingers like a Vulcan, not going to happen for me. Yeah, I appreciate that, Nathan. As far as the funny thing is, I get more harassment from religious people than I do from the government. Yeah, I've got all kinds of neat little problems there, but no, I decided. Well, so why did you bother phoning me? You sent me a text message. This is okay. Yeah, same company delivering my dresser that just phoned me, just sent me a text message that said exactly the same thing, which is great. But the way I look at it is this. Right now, I've got a very small magazine, but I'll tell you what, National Geographic and Time Magazine were not big magazines when they opened the doors. Neither were the major corporations. IBM was not an it was not a global corporation when it opened the doors. So, you know what the only holdup is for me? I haven't been doing it that long. For me, Derek, what have we got here? Derek goes, I have a poll question. What is everyone's favorite all-time movie? In my case, it was absolutely The Hobbit. Okay. It's not one of the, it's not necessarily best in everybody's eyes, but for me, it was one of the biggest ones. There's a lot I've enjoyed, but J.R.R. Tolkien, for me, really turned around and created a change, in the way my life was going. Grease 2 was really enjoyable. I just can't find a copy of it. I liked the way they did it. Some people told me it wasn't done as well as Grease 1. Personally, the issue of the actresses and actors, I liked Grease 2 myself. Was it my all-time favorite? No. But it is one of those movies that years ago I watched. I haven't been able to see it since. Something about the fact I haven't seen it anywhere on. Now, Derek, that one I don't think I've seen. Derek's just saying Interstellar is for him. I don't think I've seen Interstellar. That one, yeah, I mean, Needful Things was an enjoyable movie. I actually went out of my way to watch that one. Primarily because other people told me it was necessary. Derek, do you have any idea where to find Interstellar? I'm just making a note of it anyway. Because that one I haven't watched. Oh, was it really 1988? Joe's gone. My favorite movie, The Blob, 1988. Yeah, I know I watched The Blob. I'm just trying to think if I saw the original. Well, no, I saw the original. I don't know if I saw the one in 1988. But The Blob was a really neat movie. Okay. And the funny part about it is as time went on for me, I came to understand what The Blob was. The Blob is, albeit they took a little bit of creative license, okay, but The Blob is a Corlock. Okay. They did a little bit of creative license, but when you take a look at The Blob and Odo from Deep Space Nine, now you see what a Corlock can work with. I'd be inclined to say that when they did The Blob, they were talking about a cluster of Corlock. I'm still a firm believer that the black and white movies had an air about them, especially the horror movies, had an air about them that was very different than what all the CGI in the world can bring you. But entertainment, whatever people, and this is why in the newsletter, as you'll find out, I do have an entertainment section. Okay. But you'll find there are some twists to the way I look at entertainment. But I'm going to have to go and take a look at Interstellar because I haven't seen that one. It's neat. Some of the things that people, where are we? What's this? Joe is saying there's a song from the 80s band Alien on soundtrack called Brave New Love. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to that. No, I mean there's a lot of things. Oh, by the way, I did actually watch the live action version of Aladdin and the Lamp. Watch the live action version, and I will tell you that one is very well done. They stuck, in my opinion, really nicely to the storyline. Did a really good job of it. Derek's going, The Reverend, The Rescue, Elton's Grove, into RHW server are some of the songs from The Blob. Yeah, my memory of songs is, well, let me put it this way. I know when I like a song, but I don't necessarily know where it came from. But you'll notice everybody likes some sort of music, some sort of song, some sort of movie, some sort of sport. Okay, but it's not all the same. And none of them are better than the others. They are for individuals. But let's face it, I've got a bad leg. And, when I was trying to play baseball as a kid, I'd try and throw a baseball from just in practice, from home play, from the catcher's mound to first base. Well, it's not that far of a throw. But almost invariably, I'd fire it with the best of intentions heading for first base. The guy on second or shortstop were the ones trying to catch it. The guy on first base was standing there going, where'd the ball go? Because I could not fire it if my life depended on it. It's a good thing my life didn't depend on it. So I'm looking at the world and going, this world is a very different one for me. But this is the world we all share, and this is the world that we can turn around and turn into a very positive event. We can make this under the Garden of Eden, or we can make it hell on earth. The call is yours, guys. Not the elites, not the leaders of the religious factions, not the government. You guys are the ones that can decide whether or not this world evolves in a positive fashion or collapses completely. Now, yes, people with more money or with more political clout or more social clout seem to have a bigger impact. But if you take a look at that, okay, picture them, picture these big organizations as being a massive candle. Okay, picture that, and now take a look at you guys. You're all individuals. You may not have the biggest companies in the world. Okay, maybe you do. I haven't talked to all of you yet. Probably won't talk to all of you. But if every one of you is just a little birthday candle, and we get you all working on the same project, you end up with a whole pile of birthday candles, and you produce the same amount of energy. Okay, the only reason that the big corporations have more energy, more power than you do, is because they've already got a circle of people around them. They've already drawn that kind of volume. Okay, now the same thing is happening here. And I got to go through my stuff today. As a matter of fact, I better make a note of that. What is this? I have to go back through and find out who all I've actually sent the newsletter to. Okay, just because I desire to know what the growth curve looks like. Okay, now I know there will be people that will cancel out as time goes on. They'll either move and forget to tell me or move and choose not to tell me. Lord knows I've had that happen before. Heck, I had a girlfriend do that one day. She moved and didn't bother telling me she was moving until afterwards. That did not go over well for me. Played absolute havoc with my emotions. But you have a goal in your life. I'm absolutely certain of this. What I would like to see happen is that goal be reached. Even if it's just what you think is just a tiny little goal. Remember, a child, when they're learning to walk, it's not the first step that's hard. Every kid makes the first step. Okay, almost every kid. The second one I find is more often a case of, oops, I'm moving forward because, well, I lost my balance. I'm trying not to do a face plant. It's the third step, that is a deliberate issue of, I'm now going forward or I'm changing direction, but that is where you're at right now. You've already made the first step to changing your life. You logged into this chat room with this phenomenal group of people, a virtual family, if you will. Okay, now I'm sure they don't always get along. Of course, I'm also certain that family members and roommates don't always get along. Okay, but you've already taken the first step, and you may not have known it, to change your life for the better. You've already made that step. So now you've done that. You made the first step by coming in here. The second step was by choosing to come back. Third step, let's put these tools that are coming to light, put them to use. Now I can provide the tools. I can tell you what they are, and I can show you by example. I can lead by example and go, this is what I'm doing. Like I just did just a moment ago. When Dogface said I sent you a request for the newsletter. Okay. While I'm on the air, I turned around and went, here it is. Because now I've got the computer set up in such a way I can actually do that. Now, where are we? Oh, gotta take a look at that afterwards. We go refresh. And there it is, Adam. I was just coming in to check. Okay. Perfect. I will add all of that to the necessary to your file. Like I said, this file that I keep is literally a question. It is literally a question of it will never be sold to anybody. Thank you so much, Joe. I do appreciate that. My life, from my standpoint, my life is more science fiction than anything else. Oh, absolutely. And like I said, like I said there, Adam, where it comes to getting together for coffee, there's no problem at all there. Okay, the only problem comes on Sunday morning. I've got a game, and Tuesday night I game. So that's just the way that goes. Other than that, I'm pretty open. Of course, we know when the stream is. But if I miss the stream because of that, well, that happens on occasion. Adam, I would suggest you drive, but what the heck? Thank you so much, Adam. I do appreciate it. Make sure you continue to drive safe. And remember, you'll run into fewer cars on the sidewalk than you will on the road. But that's not necessarily a good place to drive. Although it is entertaining for a lot of people. Oh, one small little question. What do we got? The only question I got for you, Adam, if you're still there, and if not, I'll be sending it back for you anyway, is whether you desire a hard copy through the mail or an email copy as far as the newsletter goes. Either one is free. Oh, they've got a reason. Joe, I find every cop has a reason to stop you. Okay, sometimes it's just because they're bored. I just happen to have a different way of dealing with things, which thus far has worked out really well. But you got to remember, cops have a very difficult job. Even in the best of circumstances, they've got a difficult job. Okay, and this is why I do my best not to cause a problem. That and the fact it backfires anyway. Because remember, before a cop becomes a cop, they were a person. Well, they still are a person. They still have likes. They still have dislikes. They still get testy if they're having a stressful day. And, a lot of people make comments about, oh, they're always eating donuts. Well, of course they are. The fact of the matter is, donuts are chock full of instant energy. And do you really want a groggy cop handling a gun or a car? This is probably not a good mix. All in all, things are changing very quickly for us. Where are we here? Oh, right there. From that, where it comes to that, what I'm looking at is this. We have a phenomenal group of people here. And, I'm looking at it right now. Okay, we've got 8 in the chat room. The biggest change that ever happened on the world started with a group of 12. Well, 13 if you count the individual. Okay, I have every intention on taking this newsletter to the point of being a global, literally free magazine. I will have advertisements in it. Eventually, I will sell advertising. But the reality is you as individuals getting it won't be paying a plug nickel. That comes straight out of my advertising budget. Okay, so that's just the way that's going to go. And of course, then comes the question, well, how can you manage to do that? Well, I can manage to do that because I don't believe that I have to charge for everything. Okay, as a matter of fact, that reminds me, I've got to get a letter done up regarding reconnection, and I've also got to get a bill paid. Here's the thing. My other half is my editor and my executive assistant. Okay, but do I pay her less than I would anybody else? No, she still gets paid for the work she does. Okay. Derek just said he emailed me as well. So I'm just going to close this down. Up, and we hit refresh. Actually, I think should have anyway. It hasn't shown up just yet. But I do hope, Derek, that you included whether you desire the soft copy or the hard copy. Again, neither one is going to cost a plug nickel. To me, it's just a matter of whether I put it in an envelope or I send it over email. And no, there is not going to be any sort of a special bonus if you get one or the other. To my way of thinking, that just doesn't work well. Wonder if anything has gone to spam that I don't know about. Oh, it did. Now, why would it do that? That's okay. I just went into spam and found the one you just sent, Derek. So it is, in fact, here. Digital copy. No problem. That will get done, and will get done right away here. What have we got here? Derek's going, yeah. Derek says, I saw earlier a kid get tackled by a police officer because the kid asked for directions. The sad part there, the sad part there is this is actually an example of a rarity. Most cops are real decent people. Heck, I walked up to an officer one day and I asked him point blank. He had 2 other officers with him. And I asked him, I says, can I ask you what might be a silly question? And he goes, what would you like? I says, why don't you guys just up and shoot criminals? And he stops, he looks at me and he goes, because it doesn't deter other criminals. I says, no, but it will cut down on repeat offenders. And the poor cop, he just about bust out laughing. He stops, he looks at me, and he looks at his other friends and goes, the best lawyer on the planet would have a problem arguing that point. So I mean, from that standpoint, cops, you gotta remember, cops are people. I never wish to be beaten on personally. I dealt with enough threats of it when I was growing up. Well, that was just annoying. By the way, moving your hand fast when you're holding on to coffee is a good way to get a coffee bath. Not fun. Terrible waste of coffee, and I can't even wring it out of my jeans. I didn't spill enough of it. But where are we here? We are right there. All in all, things are changing. You can take whatever your hobby, and you can turn it into a going concern and generate an income. It doesn't matter much what it is. Although I will tell you, some people's hobbies are just patently illegal. Those ones I don't recommend you turn into a going concern. Okay, but I will tell you, I was told by many people, don't go into the movies, don't become an actor because you can't make money at it, or you can't make money writing, you can't make money with poetry, you can't make money as an artist. There are so many people that will tell you can't do things. My usual comment is real simple. Don't tell me what I can't do. Okay, I heard somebody else come up with a really cute thought. How about if those of you that tell me what I can't do get out of the way while I'm doing it? And this is the way things are going to go. The reality of it is it doesn't take much. Well, it takes a lot of work. Okay, but the key to success in your life is belief plus focused effort equals success. Okay, and with that in mind, I'm going to put it to you this way. If you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and then share the daylights out of it. Okay, that would be really, really appreciated. Okay, thank you so much. We're hitting the 2-hour mark here. Well, we just passed it. But thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it, you guys. You are quite literally why I keep coming back in here. Okay, with that in mind, I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.